Spurs are 8-0 when LaMarcus scores over 20 points. How reliant is their offense on his production?
Well, I mean, it's very, the Spurs need LaMarcus Aldridge to score. Greg Popovich said that last night after they, went to Indiana and beat the Pacers, even though they didn't have Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner. LaMarcus has to score the basketball down low in the mid-range in order for him to be effective. The Spurs are not like every other NBA team. They don't take a whole bunch of threes. They try to take quality threes. They live in the mid-range and in the paint. That's where they want to get their buckets. DeMar DeRozan, he has the short and long mid-range. LaMarcus has to do his work right in that short mid-range and as well as in the paint. And last night they had about 60-plus points in the paint, so that was good for them. But when LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan have it going together, the Spurs feel like they can be dominant the way that they want to be. But they can't do that unless both of them have it going. And last night both of them had it going.
Now, they each played 37 minutes in that win. Do you expect their minutes to be monitored tonight against Milwaukee?
No, because they're going to have a day off on a Sunday, and then they play the Bulls Monday. So right now, if you're the Spurs, it's all about trying to win games before this month is over. It's not been the best month for them. They had that 3-game losing streak and then a 2-game losing streak before they finally broke that last night against the Pacers. So they're trying to really grow on this road trip, trying to get it together. They're trying to get that chemistry. Greg Popovich's Spurs like to call it corporate knowledge, and you can't develop that when you're trying to put guys on minute restrictions. It's too early in the season for that. The only guy that I notice on a minutes restriction right now is Rudy Gay, because he has that sore heel. But other than that, you're trying to play, you're trying to win, and the Spurs need to win before this month is over. Because when you go home, you got the Portland Trailblazers, the Houston Rockets waiting for you. So you got to get it done, and I think one of those games is tonight.
Looking at how these two teams match up, pace should be very important. The Bucks are in the top 5 in the league, while the Spurs are in the bottom 5. What can they do to slow this game down and play at their speed?
Well, the Spurs, they're going to do what they do. Try to protect the rim, try to, close out and, protect the three-point line and make teams take mid-range shots, which a lot of NBA teams don't like to do nowadays. So they're going to try to do they're going to try to do it their way. Now, it's going to be tough because they haven't been playing the best defense this season, because you don't lose a guy like Kawhi and Danny Green and Kyle Anderson and your best perimeter defender coming into this year and DeJounte Murray and expect to still be that quality defensive team. But they have been trying to get it together. They are a little bit better. Dante Cunningham has definitely helped that by him going into the starting lineup, and you got a healthy Rudy Gay. And people forget, when Rudy Gay is really locked in, he can be a very good defender. So they've been getting better on the defensive end. But listen, it's going to be hard to stop Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks tonight, especially after what happened to them last night on that Jamal Crawford shot. So I'm sure the Bucks are going to be very fueled. But if you're the Spurs, if you try to just keep it within a certain range, it's about that 90 to 100 point range, then I think you have a good shot.
Jabari Young of The Athletic, hey, great shirt and tie combo, man. I see where your mind is. It's great.
Man, I'm trying to be like you, brother.
We appreciate you, my friend.
No problem, man.
All right, Griff, when we look
in the Bucks tonight, especially after what happened to them last night on that Jamal Crawford shot. So I'm sure the Bucks are going to be very fueled. But if you're the Spurs, if you try to just keep it within a certain range, it's about that 90 to 100 point range, then I think you have a good shot.
Jabari Young of The Athletic, hey, great shirt and tie combo, man. I see where your mind is. It's great.
Man, I'm trying to be like you, brother.
We appreciate you, my friend.
No problem, man.
All right, Griff, when we look at the San Antonio Spurs, 2-5 in their last 7, and those 2 wins came against the Warriors, who, of course, were without their 2 best players, and the Pacers, who were without All-NBA performer Victor Oladipo. So do you have a little bit less confidence in this team being able to get wins against a team like Milwaukee, who's completely healthy?
Yeah, I do, and I think one of the biggest reasons is the defensive side of the ball. Since last season, if you go back to about mid-February, they were 15 games above 500. They were 3rd in the Western Conference. And once it was announced that Kawhi was not going to be coming back, their defensive intensity really waned. At one point last year, that team defensively was incredibly stifling, and they are not that right now. Part of that is the loss of DeJounte Murray, because he was special good on that side of the ball. But a lot of it's just the intensity that they're bringing to the game on that side of the court. And again, I said it before relative to Golden State, this team doesn't have the margin for error to leave anything undone on the defensive side of the ball, because they're so dependent upon LaMarcus and DeMar to score all their points.
Yeah, the defense side of the ball is something where they're going to have to get better at. And right now, I'm not sure if they have the bodies. When you talk about DeJounte Murray not being available, that's huge. I mean, Patty Mills does what he can. He does things offensively, but he's not that type of guy that's going to shut people down the way Murray is. DeMar DeRozan's never really been known to be a defensive player. LaMarcus Aldridge either. So they're trying to find their way defensively, and at the same time, they're trying to integrate LaMarcus with DeMar. LaMarcus really shined last year when he was the only option. He got fed as much as he wanted, and he really responded well last year and had a great year. This year with DeMar back, he's kind of gone back to where he was a couple of seasons ago, where he hasn't been quite as effective. He's still playing well, but just not up to the level that we expect from him on a consistent basis. The other night, he had a huge night, 33 points against the Pacers. He got 25 shots. I think that might be the formula for the San Antonio Spurs. LaMarcus only knows one way to play. And for him to be successful, he has to have a lot of touches to feel good about himself. And you know how it is. You might not be the best defensive player in the world, but you get a lot of shots, you start feeling good defensively also. I think no matter what, he has to get fed the ball, and then they have to find a way to get DeMar to play well around him.
Spurs and Bucks will tip off at 8.